Have you guys ever lucid dreamed before?
Oh, yeah.
Hard left.
The first, it's related.
Okay.
For those that don't know, lucid dreaming, I'm not promoting this as
No, it's great.
a thing that you can like train yourself to do because I don't know.
Oh, it'd be awesome if you
I
could.
tried and it never worked. Anyway, I have been able to lucid dream 3 times. And it's basically when you realize that you're dreaming, but it doesn't wake you up, and then you're able to like take control of the dream, and you're basically a superhero, and it's sick.
You can do whatever you want. You've never lucid dreamed?
I'm not trying to make.
I have. Just this description is hilarious.
I'm not trying to make this a goop podcast, but we're close.
Yo, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
And it's actually Friday this time. I promise.
It's Wednesday.
Well,
sorry, you really confused
No.
me.
For the people,
Sorry.
you remember last time?
Yes, I know.
We were saying it's Friday, but it wasn't because it was a bonus episode. But if you haven't seen the bonus episode, go back and watch it. It wasn't a Friday when that went up, but we made a joke about how it was Friday. Now it's actually Friday. Just so we're clear.
Unless it's the future for you.
True, you could be late. In which case, it was Friday. Anyway, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about because there is somehow a lot of tech news, a lot of new things going on in the tech world, from our first look at Apple Intelligence, with a little bit of new Siri stuff and some confusion about what will happen with the next iPhones, the Nothing Phone 2a Plus, OpenAI's new search product. But first, 2 weird ones.
Yeah.
And we have to decide which to jump into first. Would you rather jump into a necklace that's always listening to you that costs $100 and is a standalone AI product, or
No, don't do that. Thank you.
or a $4,500 pair of pants augmented by technology?
It's $5,000?
Yes.
Dang, I wanted this, and I'm
Which-
not sure anymore.
Which one speaks to you more?
I think that you should go through the pants first.
You want me to go through pants first?
Yeah, because I don't
Okay.
know how long I'm going to talk about this pendant.
Okay, that's fine. I will try and do the pants pretty quickly here, but I'll tell you what they are and then why I think they're actually really
You've
cool.
got some splaining to do.
I do have a lot of explaining to do, and I understand that.
Okay.
So there were some tech articles this week. The Verge was the one that really popped off, but there's another really good one on TechCrunch. And essentially, it is a $4,500 pair of hiking pants, and that's the early bird special. So it's actually a $5,000 pair of hiking pants, made by a company called Skip in partnership with a company called Arc'teryx, which I'm sure everyone understands
They're
as
already pricey.
their own extremely pricey pair of
they're
hiking pants.
Expensive company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have an exoskeleton on them with a motor that helps you make, quote, 30 pounds lighter while hiking. So off the bat, when you hear this, I feel like when everybody's thinking about hiking and feeling lighter, you're thinking about backpacking, where everybody's main goal is to shave off like every ounce possible and pay exorbitant amounts of money.
Exorbitant.
Yeah. To do that.
Exorbitant.
Yeah.
Pay way too much money to shave a couple ounces off of your
course.
backpack.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber, everything. Yeah.
Exactly. These are carbon fiber, I believe, also. But because backpackers are willing to spend bonkers amounts of money to take that weight off.
Go into the wilderness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when I was reading more into this, I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. People might want to do something like that. But then realized it has a 3-hour battery life and they weigh 7 pounds themselves. So
Per
this
leg?
feels kind of pointless.
Per leg?
No, together.
Oh, okay.
But so let me explain kind of what they are first.
Yeah.
Imagine a pair of Arc'teryx hiking pants,
I'm
so
with you.
lightweight. Now, from the outside, on the outside of both of your legs, you'll see essentially 2 carbon fiber sticks with a joint in the middle.
Mhm.
And the way this works is you have a cuff that goes around both quads and both calves. And then through that, there's a little buckle and do you guys know what a BOA adjustment is? It's this,
Boa
Not the
constrictor.
snake.
I believe it's either BOA or BOA. I'm not sure what people call it. It got really popular with like snowboard boots, but it's essentially a system that can
magnet?
just tighten and loosen by turning.
Oh,
Okay,
there's some
yeah.
golf shoes that have that.
Yeah,
logo.
yeah. So the cuffs have that,
helmet.
and that part comes through. Yeah, helmets have it as well. And then there's 2 little like hooks. It's not hooks, but like places to attach to. So
Okay.
you have your cuffs under your pants, you pull your pants over it, and then these exoskeleton motor joints go on the outsides of your legs. And then there's a battery pack that tucks in behind your belt in the
Damn.
back.
Oh, right. The battery pack. Right,
Because you
right,
do
right.
get 2 battery packs with this 3 hours each.
Okay.
So what this does is there's a motor in the joint that as you're walking, it learns the body's natural movement and essentially is helping produce I don't know what they're called, like support or extra muscle movement to the muscles in your quad and your calf. So you're taking weight and stress off of your knees.
Oh.
And because of this, now as you're walking, especially up higher inclines, it'll just be easier on your knees. It'll make you feel lighter. It'll overall make hiking a tad easier.
Mm-hmm.
It also, just want to say, has regenerative braking. As you go downhill, you do charge the battery with the motor, which I think is kind of awesome.
That's hilarious.
awesome. Okay.
But the main company behind this is Skip. And weirdly enough, they messaged me on Reddit like a few months ago because I complained about having knee problems on the podcast. And they were like, I wonder if you'd be interested in this.
Yeah.
What I was saying, it wasn't quite what they were talking about yet.
Okay.
But I do think while this sounds absurd, might be interesting for someone like me, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, as something you would do if like you get older, you have a lot of arthritis, you have knee issues, you have like a bucket list hike that you might want to pull off, and you just can't really pull off a single day hiking, not backpacking, not anything.
Yeah.
These could help you out in that. Although it's $5,000, they are offering programs where you can rent them for a day for like $80, and I think that's much
cool.
more like reasonable. If you're older, you're playing Ultimate too, like I did. You're messing your knees and your
I know.
everything up.
Yeah.
Imagine in like 20 years you're retired from Ultimate, you take a trip to Yosemite or something, you want to do Half Dome hike.
Mm-hmm.
Would you spend $100 to potentially do something
To make it easier.
I think for some people it would be to just make it possible.
Right.
In 20 years,
Yeah.
my knees are going to be shot.
I think that's where the line is. I think it when you see the ad in the commercial, it looks like, oh, it's for the enthusiast who's going to reduce his 150-pound backpack to 110 pounds.
I don't think it's
It's
for
like
that.
it's more. You know what this reminded me of? Because it's so first gen. It reminds me of when we all saw Back to the Future and the self-lacing shoes, and we were like, self-lacing shoes would be
they
cool.
made them.
And then the first self-lacing shoes were like a foot and a half tall, like these moon boots, and you put your foot on them, and they go.
Yeah.
Like, I bet these make some sounds. I bet these are not the lightest version, not the most strong version. 3-hour battery life.
They
Like,
have been working exoskeletons for like a while. though.
This team met at Google X
Okay.
and were working on exoskeleton robotics, and then met there, joined together, created Skip. I forgot to say that. I also didn't even say the name of the product. It's called Mogo, which stands for mountain goat.
That's cool.
Because they're good alpine hikers.
That's clever.
Um,
Why is everyone obsessed with the letter X?
Google X, you mean?
Google is.
Well,
They didn't name it
They're
that.
like deprecated now, basically.
No, I know, but Google X, then there's X, the social network now.
Well, okay, but a long time ago, X, like Ingredient X and Powerpuff, like X was
X-Men.
just ambiguousness.
is cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
was.
What?
Someone ruined it.
I feel like it is kind of ruined. Anyway, continue.
Sorry. I also didn't explain that. Like, the reason I think this is awesome, I've had 3 ACL tears, 4 knee surgeries to fix those. My knees are like 60 years old on a 30-year-old body. And I know in the future I'm going to want to go on some really cool hikes with like my kids or stuff like that. And something like this, renting it for a day would be awesome. I totally understand that $5,000 is absurd. I'm assuming from what I've seen what they're saying that this is like, we need to market this to somebody with money. If you're buying Arc'teryx pants, you might actually think about buying $5,000 pants because they're already a couple $100
Wait,
as they are.
Okay, I was gonna say how much?
These pants are $200 normally. I looked them up.
but you said that you can rent this, can't you?
Yeah. I
For
would
how
spend
much?
$80 for a day on this. Easy.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
As someone who hikes with like an 80-pound backpack with 12 cameras in it, is that going to help at all? Or is it mostly just like if your knees are already kind of shot?
I think this still would help.
Okay.
The question is how far, because like what you have to think here is how far are you hiking? What's the battery life on this? Because the reason this wouldn't be great for backpackers is if you negate 30 pounds for 3 hours, then after that though, now they are
carrying
7 pounds by themselves.
more
And
weight,
so now you're just carrying more weight.
Yeah.
Even with the swappable battery, you're still adding weight for that then. So like, that's why I think this is way more of like a single day. You have a bucket list hike that you might have, or a bucket list place you want to go to that involves some steeper inclines, and maybe you're just not as young as you used to be. That's where this seems cool. I do want to say they also are trying to get covered by the FSA, which could help bring down price for some users. And they have been testing this with people with Parkinson's, I believe, to see if it could help. But it is not officially labeled as a medical device because that involves a lot of work. Yeah. So that's more why this feels like a, hey, proof of concept. Let's bring this out as the super expensive thing.
Right.
Rentals as well. I could see an outdoor shop buying a couple of these and renting them for $100 a day and maybe being return on investment kind of thing.
Potentially.
But, yeah. I think it's kind of cool.
I remember a long time ago, and I don't remember if this ended up being like a scam, but there was, I don't remember if it was a Kickstarter or not, but I remember some sort of negative weight backpack coming out.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It wasn't negative weight. It was
It
on a system, so it counteracted your steps to go up and down. So it felt like it was less of the up and down movement. It didn't really pull you up, but it didn't have the momentum of your heavy bag falling down on you all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think it did very well.
Yeah, I can't even find anything about it, so I think it was probably
There's also a short of a guy with a weather balloon filled with helium on his back. It works awesome until the wind blows.
Well, at the end of the year, I am going to Patagonia, and I'm going to be backpacking through Patagonia with very expensive camera gear.
May I suggest those shoes that you strap on that make you walk 3.5 miles an hour faster?
I don't think those are off-road capable.
Fair.
Those plus the skip,
attitude.
the Mogo.
Right.
Moon shoes plus Mogo.
Well, that would be the same combo.
Arc'teryx.
Skip.
I
I mean, Arc'teryx also, if you want to.
Arc'teryx. My knees could use studio video.
Your knees are perfectly fine.
We would be more than happy to test this.
I will tell you, there's this rumor that goes around that's real, that the closer you get to 30, like right when you turn 30, everything just starts falling apart. I think you talked about this when you turned 30.
Yeah.
I'm not quite 30. I'm getting close, but my 29th year of life has by far been like, what is happening?
Yeah, you know that like little nagging injury that like is a couple of months long, and you're like, what is that? Why isn't that going away? And then it finally goes away, and then a new one pops up, and you're like, what's going on? When you turn 30, they just don't go away.
Yeah, they just don't go away.
So it's kind of, that's a fun time.
Yeah.
Marquez says this while this year he's playing on 3 of the most elite ultimate Frisbee teams in the world.
And it hurts. I will say the Nike self-lacing shoes do have subsequent generations that have gotten more and more regular shoe-like. So there is hope.
I have a pair of those.
You do?
Really?
You have the third Hyper Adapts?
Yeah, because Google, when they cared about Google Assistant way back in the day during 2020, they sent me a pair because they added some integration to Google Assistant and like MyFitnessPal, where you could tell MyFitnessPal or you could tell Google Assistant add food to MyFitnessPal. And for some reason, they also sent over the Nike Adapts as well as like some other training equipment. So I still have them, and they're like $300 shoes.
I think they're like more.
Depends.
No,
no,
they're 300
no.
now.
Yeah, they're cheap.
They were like
But
more previously.
it's funny because I actually saw an article recently that I think that they just killed off, like they have a button that can do it, but you could also do it via an app, and they just removed the feature from the app that will do it because nobody was using it.
Somebody out there he was using the app, and now he's permanently laced in his shoes.
And now instead of taking 15 seconds to tie your shoes, you have to just hold the button on the side and let it go.
Watch it the whole time.
Yeah.
Because we're totally moving forward in technology. Yeah.
But yeah, these are scheduled for late 2025, I believe.
Late 2025?
Yeah, that's what I just looked like in the article.
Well, if you're willing to give me a 1 year early sample, I'll try them.
Can I throw one other hiking related story really quick?
Yeah.
Did you see all the wildfires in Western Canada?
I heard about this.
I was just there in
I
California.
saw 2 different videos and or articles about people using their satellite SOS buttons that saved them from those fires.
Wasn't that from the California one? The Chico one?
The 2 that I saw were in British Columbia and in Jasper, which I think also is in British Columbia. But one was 4 people camping, when they say saw the fires, apparently the embers were falling on their tent. Whoa, and they noticed how close it was, ran up to a ridge, called it. The helicopter pilot said that like They just went exactly to the ping that they got on
Yeah.
the iPhone satellite SOS, and they said it was like perfect. They were right there, picked them both, all four up,
That's crazy.
and left. Then there's another woman who was like, took a video of her noticing the fires on where she was and that they were coming close to her. Garmin watch SOS, stood by a river she had to cross it and got picked up by a helicopter.
Dang.
Then flying away, it's just like bright orange, like
Wow.
everything
Video?
up. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's pretty wild. But
What
yeah.
are the odds that one of these stories ends up in the keynote next year?
It 100%.
Well, in Apple's keynote, only one because the other one was with the Garmin. But
Oh, okay.
Well,
that one.
1,000%.
yeah,
In the keynote.
very solid chance.
You'll hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I did get to use the SOS, or not the SOS, the satellite texting feature when I was
yeah?
in Wyoming, which is cool. Like, it was cool seeing how it worked and how you did this. And yeah, it actually worked pretty well.
Was it RCS?
No. They
You know-
apparently have iMessage over satellite, but they don't have RCS over satellite. They said they compressed the iMessage algorithm to work over satellite,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
but it didn't work for me. And maybe it's just because I was the only one on the beta and the other person wasn't on the beta.
a couple weeks ago, I was on a flight at night, and the pilot pointed out that there was a Starlink constellation, like a chain of Starlink satellites
really?
passing by, and I looked out and I saw the chain of
Whoa.
Starlink.
What do you mean
satellites.
passing by?
Kind of
They're
just
in
like
Earth orbit.
a line of like 12 dots all straight through the sky,
Okay,
and we were just like, oh, okay,
interesting.
yeah.
Have you seen it like in person yet?
That was it. That was me seeing it in person.
Oh, well, okay. Have you two
Yeah.
seen it in person yet?
I've seen a
a
like.
Starlink chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it's pretty crazy.
It is
Yeah.
kind of weird. Yeah.
Speaking of kind of weird,
That was a great one.
Nice.
there is a product that, well, it's not out yet. It was sort of teased and unveiled on, I guess, on Twitter and various other socials.
Can we preface this by saying there's a lot of people who get mad when we're negative about things. I don't think there's going to be a ton of positivity going forward.
I'm going to give it a fair chance,
Okay.
but
Of course.
I'm going to only
Potential
speak
trigger
facts.
warning alert if you're not into
I promise only facts is what I
Okay.
promise. Okay, so it's called Friend, right? I'm just going to tell you what it is. And you can watch a video. It's like a 90-second video or something like that. But essentially what it is, it's a standalone AI device. It is a wearable. It's a necklace this time. It's like a little white glowing orb the size of like
They have different
two
colors.
air tags.
it feels like a big air tag.
like a big air tag.
Yeah.
And you walk around, and according to this video, because this is kind of all we have to go by, it's an AI friend that is always listening to you and that will send you text messages, it appears, or some sort of messages at various times based on what it has heard, kind of like how a friend would.
It lives in your
Have you ever
pocket.
seen the red flag guy on TikTok? It's just this guy who runs by with a giant red flag whenever or everything you described there was like standalone AI assistant, and I'm just imagining the guy with the red flag
Mhm.
running by and
So it's a minute and 44-second video, and yeah, so there's a girl going for a hike, and then she's just kind of talking to herself, and then she gets a message on her phone from the AI friend that says, "Well, at least we're outside." So it's just kind of it's like you have a friend with you.
she's talking to the pendant.
She's kind of just talking out loud. This one she's talking to the pendant, so she touches the pendant and then grabs her phone and then reads the message. Okay. The next example is a guy in a basement playing video games with his friends, and to himself under his breath, as he's getting slaughtered in the game, he's like, "Oh man, I'm getting crushed here." And then he gets a message on his phone that says, "Jackson, you're getting thrashed."
Thanks.
So
That does sound like my friends.
yeah, so embarrassing.
To be
That's
fair.
so funny because like there's so many times I've been playing Valorant and I'm on the verge of like wanting to throw my mouse and like getting a text being like
You suck.
noob.
It's like you are getting destroyed right now.
wrecked by people
and
on
getting shit
chat.
talked in chat.
Yeah, why do I need an AI to talk me too?
So your friend can talk. Then there's another one of this girl who's kind of like having a lunch on break or something, watching a show on her phone. And as she's watching the show, she gets a message saying, "This show is completely underrated." So it just knew it probably heard the show she was watching or knew about it.
The biggest red flag there is she was watching it without headphones in a public space.
This is true. She was watching without headphones.
That one also, the next thing it says is, "How's the falafel?" Because it knows she ordered falafel because it was listening before.
right.
And then she says, "It's dank."
Yeah.
That was
So it asked her a question.
Thanks, Jen.
It said, "How's the falafel?" This is okay. If you've ever used Carrot Weather, there's like a little persona inside, a little AI that just gives you some commentary with the weather, and you can turn it up or down in like snarkiness and sassiness. So there's like 6 levels, and at the very lowest level, it's always PG. It's like, beautiful day we're having. Oh, looks like it'll rain later. You can turn it up. I have mine at the 2nd highest level, so I'm just gonna look at whatever it says for today.
Oh, I maxed mine out. When I
You can
had
go
it.
all the way
Yeah.
to suicidal,
Yeah.
but
jeez.
yeah, the 2nd highest level is it says, if we take this to its natural conclusion, in the last Marvel movie, Robert Downey Jr. will play every single character.
It's true.
what does that mean?
I don't know.
Robert Downey Jr. was just announced as
Yeah.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the weather?
It just commentates on things remotely related to the current events and the weather. Sometimes not even with the weather at all.
Because that's
Yeah,
not
I was like-
the weather.
This I refreshed, and there's a heat advisory here. It's 98 real feel right now.
Oh my
It says,
gosh.
heat haze can make you see things that aren't really there, like a family who loves you. So
Wow.
yeah, so there's a level of dialing it
I
up or
wish.
dialing it down.
Crazy.
I suspect that they will have something similar with this product, because if my random AI assistant texted me to ask me questions about the food I was eating, I would just be annoyed by that. I would just say, "Hey, don't ask me questions, please."
Yeah.
Anyway, it's called Friend. It's a $99 pre-order. We've heard about it being a sort of a stealth startup that raised $2 million and then spent $1.8 million of it on the friend.com
Domain
URL.
name.
Like
So-
a boss.
which is a move, It's a thing you can do these days. I don't know. I've like I said, I'm only giving you facts. These are the things that were in the video. These are the things that it can do. It's $99. It is a standalone AI device. Now this is shifting to opinion time.
Okay.
I think this is not that cool or great. I understand that there's a small fraction of people who goes, "Oh, what a very unique, interesting thing that has not been done before." True, you can say that. It's unique and hasn't been done before. But does that make it good that you're encouraging people to have a friend that is an AI device? I told you I watched Her, right?
On
Yeah.
the plane.
Finally.
Have you guys seen that movie? It's
Has anyone seen that?
really relevant. It's
Please watch to the end.
Very relevant.
Very relevant
yeah.
from 11 years ago.
There used to be
yeah.
chatbots on Instant Messenger that felt like this. That if you just wanted to talk to someone and you got bored of them really fast.
So yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about this. I read about this a lot last night, just because I was feelings about
When
it.
you say you read about this a lot, did you read like
Yeah,
Twitter
what else?
so
or the
there's
website?
multiple articles about it. There's
Mm.
multiple interviews with Avi, the guy that is making it, and just like what he says that he sees as the future for this product.
Sure.
He says that he sees it sort of as a Tamagotchi, which
I know what
if
that
you
is.
remember Tamagotchis,
Mhm.
some of the younger audience might not remember, but they were basically these little Japanese keychain things that had pets on them. And you had to feed them every now and then, and you basically had to keep checking in on them and taking care of them. And you did form some form of digital relationship with your Tamagotchi. They're still very popular in Japan, actually, and they've come out with like newer models since then.
Mhm.
But that's sort of like the old school analog version of this. Now, that said, the reason he said it's kind of like a Tamagotchi is because if you lose the pendant, your friend is dead. Like you never see it again. Like you don't. It's not like
It's not an app.
It's
If it-
not an
What if
app.
it breaks?
If it breaks, you're screwed. It's not. You don't get the same friend.
That
like,
seems not great.
which is interesting. They said they did that on purpose, which I kind of find interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about this. Another thing that they said was basically like you are a combination of the 5 friends that you spend the most time with.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
And he said, now in the future, one of those friends might be an AI. I just think. Here's the thing. People are real, right? So real people have real feelings and real emotions, and you have to learn how to interact with human beings that are all very complex and diverse. The way that AI language models work is that they are a net average summation of
all
all these
people.
things. They're hyper positive, right?
You want them to be.
And maybe to give them the benefit of the doubt, in some environments, if you're a person that needs to sort of like work up to more social interaction with people in the real world, like having a soft, easy way to interact with a human-like thing in order to get there could be
Practice.
good. I could see far-reaching environments in which, certain people with mental health conditions could utilize this. However, when we interact with people in the real world, everyone is complex and is not just going to be a hyper positive, I'm your BFF, I don't have any problems, and the only thing I care about is you mentalities. And it feels a little bit dangerous to me to get people attached and addicted to virtual human beings that are not human beings and don't have the same complexities as human beings. We have seen this there's Replica AI, which is an app that you basically log into and you have this virtual AI BFF that people started digitally dating.
Oh, that's a thing.
You can go on the subreddit for this.
Dating.
And it's really uncomfortable. But these people get very attached to these like digital personas. And if something happens to them, they get very upset. And I don't know. I just think,
There's a movie about this.
I know. There is a movie about this.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I feel like I totally understand. I guess part of my thing is with this release video, and maybe it's just the release video, I think there's some space for like there are people out there who are lonely. Everyone at some point has been in a position where they're like, I wish I could talk to somebody right now. Whether that's just like a conversation that makes you feel not so by yourself, that is a 100% normal thing for everyone to go through.
Mm-hmm.
They don't market it like that at all. They market it so far as just this like multiple, like one guy's with other people and somebody's just telling him he's trash at like Call of Duty or whatever. And I don't know if it was just a text. I also think that's weird where it's like, I speak out loud and then get a text message. Why is it not just a phone thing? Why is it not a huge red flag that it's listening all of the time from this company that we've never heard of? And even if it's a company I have heard of, I don't want them listening all the time. There's just a lot of red flags in this that I don't really get the point of it overall.
Yeah. I think I have 3 main takeaways. And look, we don't know if this product is actually going to come out or not. We just see this video and we're reacting to it. That's how far we've gotten so far. My number 1 is kind of along the lines of what you were saying, which is I guess I don't really see this being like, okay, it's got to listen to you all the time to do what it says it's doing, right? So they're going to probably say, okay, it's always encrypted and it's stored locally and we have no access to it and all this stuff to make it acceptable that it's listening all the time. And it still needs to go through their servers and like send you a message on your phone. Why don't I just have an app on my phone that I like talk to once in a while when I need that service? Does it have to listen to me all the time? That's my first thought.
Can I throw a question out there just on that and maybe you read this? It says listening all the time, and I think it's storing locally. What?
It uses Bluetooth to connect to your phone.
To connect to your phone, I'm assuming this.
I wonder if it
sends the message. I don't know. What I'm wondering is where are we? How long in context are we talking about? Are we overwriting stuff of like context of what it's listening to?
Great point.
Because in that it's like she's eating the falafel and it mentions the falafel. Are we talking about the last hour? Are we saying like, oh man, what was that thing I did yesterday morning and it's going to know what I'm doing? Or is it only knowing within the last hour or so?
Right.
Yeah.
Which takes the difference between I hate that it's storing a day's worth of audio that I have to also what good is this if it only knows the last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
It's like, it feels damned both ways on that.
Right. If it's just reactive based on your most recent like interactions.
Super in the moment.
Right. I mean, Avi is pretty back and forth on Twitter and stuff about this. We could always ask.
Sure.
But
yeah. Well, my second take is the wearing of a device like this that's so, I guess, unnatural looking kind of makes it a target. You're the guy with the AI friend. I can see it on you're wearing it. That's the first
like
thing.
Target
I thought.
for bullying and
or just being stolen or whatever. And then the third thing that I thought is this feels very Twitter, and I know it feels very bubble, like very much like people who are speaking about this or care deeply about this are all in one place. And I just looked it up real quick. This launched everywhere. Like there's friend.com, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's whatever. So they put the YouTube video out. This same exact YouTube video got 131,000 views, 800 likes, 700 comments. They launched it on Instagram, brand new, has 693 likes, and has 800 followers on their account. And they launched it on Twitter, and on Twitter it has 18.2 million views, 9,200 retweets, and 3,600 comments.
Dang.
So there's a type
You're
for
right.
this,
Right.
and I just wonder like how local is this type? Is this very, very AI positive type of person who's willing to give it a shot versus the general public? Because I first watched this and it felt kind of like a sketch, like a parody, and I think a lot of people watching it may feel the same way. But in a certain group of people, this is much more hard hitting.
I was just going to say, I think part of those numbers are inflated by Twitter also being the easiest place to dunk on things.
Facts.
So I
Yes.
think there's definitely
Yeah.
some of that of people on Twitter enjoy retweeting and
great
commenting
point.
to dunk and make fun of things.
I have a question. Well, it's not really a question. It's more, well, it's kind of a question. Anyway, my kind of a question is that if you're selling something for $99
This
and
sorry.
it costs money per query,
Mhm.
to me, that says we don't expect people to use this long term because there's no subscription. And if they did use it long term, it would cost us money.
It says something totally different to me. That says we are definitely selling the data we're collecting from this
Well,
because that's the only way it will make money.
To me, it tells me that they're trying to get bought.
Like immediately.
It doesn't need to be long term.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Three
Three
totally
different
different
takes.
interesting. Yeah.
Because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like the way queries work, $99 would run up if that's all the money.
If you
that was
actually
going to
use
it.
this for like a couple of years, I'm pretty sure your query costs would be above,
And that's not including hardware and
Right.
any of that.
which probably costs $3, but
yeah,
it's a
probably not much.
it's a microphone with a.
I do also
Bluetooth
agree.
radio.
Necklace is kind of necklace option. Could it not be a keychain or a belt buckle?
It's probably
I'm
just
kidding.
where is the
It's
most of the
the
sound.
easiest.
Belt buckle's wild.
Keychain, I guess you couldn't put
I gotta
on.
talk to
Necklace, you can always do it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be able to tap it at any time.
You definitely need a certain fashion style to be able to wear a necklace every day with a little AI assistant on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
What's the battery life?
yeah,
That's a great question.
How do you
too.
charge it?
I think it has a USB-C port on it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it will be interesting to see how this plays out, but a lot of just, I know that I sound negative a lot around a lot of the AI stuff. It's just that it feels like there's this gold rush and everyone knows that they can make a lot of money, but no one is thinking about like, does anyone actually want this, or does this actually make anyone's life better or a society better? Because parasocial relationships already exist on YouTube and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And having a parasocial relationship with a robot, which is literally a prediction machine, it feels very, very dystopian and bleak.
I sent this to my sister, who is way younger and cooler than me and more of a normal person. And she replied and said that she felt like she was watching a horror movie and was waiting to get jump scared with that video.
Yeah.
There's a really funny parody video of it already, by the way, called Enemy instead of Friend. And
great
each thing that texts back is just like Voldemort saying, like, after the guy gets beat in the video games, it's Voldemort saying, like, wait till they fall asleep and light their house on fire.
I also think that there's a little bit of a hyper positivity on Twitter specifically around like AI and tech stuff.
What? No way.
Because look, it's cool if you're like gonna create a product and like make something and that you're putting a lot into it and actually like trying to make something. That's very cool. Not a lot of people do that. But the Silicon Valley way is just like make it even if nobody wants it.
Just
you
has to
know,
be unique.
Just make money. And it sort of feels like a let's just make money kind of thing. So I don't know.
Well said.
That's my take. But I'm willing to give it a shot once they actually come out.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want it.
I'll
In the perfect
Sorry.
world,
I mean, this doesn't look like for me. Maybe it's for someone else. I can't
yeah.
see myself ever
For the amount of
using
time that I feel comfortable using it,
Yeah.
which I don't even know if I do because like no one else is consenting to their voice being stored.
that's another.
Is
great
that even
point.
legal in a lot of states?
Can
Can you just be recording all the time and not tell people?
There's a difference between
Yeah.
phone calls and recordings. I don't know the rules, but that is another good question. Because if you're just recording everything all the time, then
Yeah.
what do you
Also,
do?
he said that he eventually wants to add a camera to it, in which case I'm like, no,
Nah.
don't do that. Do not do
Definitely.
that. This is already far enough. This is already too far, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People would see a camera and just, that would be it.
Assuming
That'd
this
be it.
works perfectly as advertised, I still don't think it's useful. Like, why do I want someone else
think
to
there's
text me random things throughout the day?
It does. The commercial is always random things. I was trying to think of useful things it could do. Like if you were like, oh, where did I put my keys down? And then because it could hear the last time your keys jingled, it
Or
could
had a
tell you
camera.
what room you were in or had a camera. But like maybe it could help you answer questions or maybe you tell it to remember stuff. Like when I was testing the Meta Ray-Bans, you could have it remember stuff for you. Things like that could be a utility if it's always listening, maybe.
It's not. That doesn't sound like what they're going for, though.
It's not in the commercial.
No.
I think it's just super dystopian that guy was playing video games with his friends.
With
and
real
instead of
friends.
interacting with his friends he was in the same room with, he decided to text, not even his like new love interest, but a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's already rude to like get
And
on your
is-
phone when you're with your friends and text someone else, but to text a robot when you're with your friends,
Yeah.
bro,
It's a choice.
what is this? Anyway,
I don't really get
it was very
this,
well
yeah.
shot though, so whoever
It
shot
was
it,
pretty well
it
done.
was
The
pretty
video
well
is
done.
pretty well done.
Yeah, even if it was dystopian.
Maybe the product is well done. Who
Nope.
knows?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see.
We got to take a break. We got much more to talk about with AI and a couple other products as well. But before we take a break, we got to take a trivia break.
Trivia,
Dude.
dude.
Nice.
Thanks.
So, we spoke about Google X earlier, which was famous for its crazy projects such as Project Loon and Waymo, even Glass. So, because Ellis is away on vacation, I have a multiple choice in his honor. Which of the following was not a Google X project? Project Glare, a project that used exclusively solar energy to charge hot swappable e-bike batteries. Project Dandelion, a project that sold geothermal energy systems to consumers. Project Flux, a project that made a tool for designing eco-friendly buildings. Project Mineral, a project that used machine learning to scale sustainable agriculture.
Man, they got a lot of projects going on over there, man.
Yeah.
Just project after project.
Well, they did. They killed a lot of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, they had projects.
Yeah.
Or they spun them out as their own
That's a great way
companies.
to not kill a product is just call it a project so you can just stop doing it at any
Yeah.
time. It was just a project.
We count those.
Well, the subheader for Google X was Google X, the moonshot factory.
Yeah.
So they were basically
Yeah.
saying like most of this stuff.
We're going to shoot for the moon, and if we miss, then we land amongst the stars.
That's-
Or gravity brings us back down to Earth, crashing and burning. Either way, we'll have the answers at the end like we usually do, and we'll be right back.
Support for this show comes from Meta.
Have a question or need how-to advice? Just ask Meta AI. Whether you want to design a marathon training program that will get you race ready for the fall, or you're curious what planets are visible in tonight's sky, Meta AI has the answers. Perhaps you want to learn how to plant basil when your garden only gets indirect sunlight. Meta AI is your intelligent assistant. It can even answer your follow-up questions, like what you can make with your basil and other ingredients you have in your fridge. Meta AI can also summarize your class notes, visualize your ideas, and so much more. The best part is you can find Meta AI right in the apps you already have: Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger. Just tag Meta AI in your chat or tap the icon in the search bar to get started. It's the most advanced AI at your fingertips. Expand your world with Meta AI.
All right, we are back. So just recently, we got an iOS 18.1 beta update. It's a developer beta, and what's weird about that is we were just on iOS 18.0 beta, and so this is already a .1 again before any of it is pushing to regular people's phones. So we're 18.1, and it's the first beta with Apple Intelligence features turned on. A couple of them anyway. There's some writing tools. There's the new Siri and some of the improvements coming with that. There is a new notification mode that's just like priority notifications only. A couple other small things. Lots of things are also still very much missing, including the image playgrounds and a bunch of other stuff. But it's there. And one of the questions that came with this update is, okay, wait a minute. Only some of the Apple Intelligence features are here. It's 18.1 already. The phones that launch in September, iPhone 16, what is going to launch on those phones? Will that be iOS 18.0, 18.1, some of the AI features, all of the AI features? Like, we got a lot of announcements at WWDC, and it seems with the current trajectory of timing, like many of those things will not be in the brand new iPhone that launches in September. Seems kind of odd to me, maybe a little bit confusing. It'll probably eventually get to the iPhone, but I just thought that was interesting.
I think it's interesting. I guess the first thing is, do you think these new AI features are going to be one of the larger selling points of 16?
What I heard was that they are, because there's not going to be that many changes to the hardware.
They are going to be the bigger feature.
Well, considering Apple Intelligence requires the A17 Bionic Pro, whatever it's called, or above, you need either a 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, or 16 series at all.
The reason I ask is, like, I think we've all made it clear that we, at this point, expect every phone launch to have something in the event that we don't see till later, which is really annoying.
Yep.
Does this seem like one of the bigger features of that? Because, like, what was it? What was the Apple, like, diffusion one?
Oh, yeah. It was the camera one.
Apple does a lot of camera ones that are like not the big thing you need, but something that makes
Small
good
feature.
marketing material.
And it
but
ended up making zero difference.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I think it also, like, wasn't cinematic mode like 2 months late.
Yeah.
Almost every big camera feature was
Those are really good marketing things for the event, but ones that maybe you don't buy the phone for. Because like you've said for a very long time, don't purchase something based on future promises.
100%.
This feels like one of the biggest selling points for this, and to be a future promise, if so, that's why I think this one feels weirder than other ones.
Also, so in the 18.1 beta that they gave to us this week, it doesn't offer any of the Siri features that I actually think are going to, like, foundationally change how you could possibly use your phone.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it hard to sort of, like, test this out and have any idea whether or not Apple Intelligence is actually going to move units. Because we don't even, it doesn't include any of the deep app integration for Siri.
Yeah. So for those who are seeing this turned on for the first time, we've posted some videos of it and there's some screenshots of it, but you upgrade to the new iOS 18.1 developer beta, and then you go into the settings and there's an Apple Intelligence tab, and that is in beta. And that you have to join a wait list to get into because they're managing server capacity, because obviously some bigger queries go to servers. So it's like a beta of a beta inside a beta, and it's very, very tightly managed, and it seems like a small fraction. And like you said, parts of Siri are there. Parts of Siri, like in-app actions, I feel like that's the part that I'm waiting for, that I really want to test, that could be really interesting, that could set it apart.
That's the rabbit replacement.
Yeah. And so as of right now, if you just go and ask Siri a bunch of things, new Siri versus old Siri, it's pretty similar. Yeah. Honestly, there's not a huge ton of differences. It's just a functionality difference. Yeah, I can type to Siri more easily now, things like that. But yeah, it's
Have you gotten the, like, prompt to send it to ChatGPT yet?
No, that's not built into this one. That's one of the things that's not here yet as well.
Yeah.
So, we're able to evaluate what we've seen a little bit. This is a developer beta. They're very early. It's not coming to the public just yet. Maybe that'll be soon.
It slows down my phone by a lot every time it engages. Yeah.
But, I played with it a bit, and it's very few things.
Yeah.
Very few things.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little behind the scenes here, had videos ready for this week, saw that 18.1 developer came out. We were like, let's make a video on it. And then you guys looked at it and we're like,
There's way
Maybe
less
just
than we thought.
Yeah, I almost like halted everything. I was like, wow, Apple Intelligence is here. Time to review it. And then, it's just a third of this stuff.
And then made a short instead.
Yeah,
like-
so we'll wait. Honestly, two things. One, the most impressive parts of it are the animations. I gotta be honest.
I've
Which
seen
is
a lot of
so
that.
depressing.
The new Siri animation is
Yeah.
so slick. The new writing tools animate in a super cool way.
Yeah.
When you're typing in the keyboard, there's the suggestions for like auto reply. They
really
like
bad.
pop in nicely.
They're so bad.
But they look so cool.
so bad.
I know.
Oh, you're saying the actual suggestions.
The suggestions are bad.
I've yet to see
Yeah.
a good auto
Oh my God.
suggest,
have
and I
some
hate when
to
you
show guys
accidentally
that are
press
so
them. Yeah.
funny. They're so terrible.
So honestly, that's number one to me is like the animations are very pretty. But number two, what you said earlier, I think is a really great point. The difference between the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 16, we don't think it's going to be that much. Like we might have slightly better cameras and slightly better performance and slightly better battery life, but we're not expecting this dramatic, massive change like the way we might in some other form factors or some other phones. And so I think the AI has to be one of the biggest differences between everyone who just bought an iPhone 15 and will not get these features and what we're about to see in these new phones. So, yeah, if this is the Pixel we're talking about, maybe there are some other things like a way bigger, brighter screen or some other stuff that would make you upgrade that isn't just the AI. But I think because it's Apple and they are so safe about their hardware changes, I think the AI has to be the thing that people are looking forward to with the new phones. And so that's why it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, was it Apple's tagline that was AI for the rest of us? Or was that...
It was Apple.
I have a few primary thoughts on this.
Mhm.
So, okay, we obviously have the new animations, which, as you said, are pretty.
Well done.
But then I was surprised to see all of these new writing tools built in ways that I didn't really anticipate. One of them is when you're in messages, it will constantly just give you like message reply suggestions, very similar to Gmail. Gmail has been doing this auto reply thing for a long time.
Oh, like as you type, it'll like fill out?
No, that's Google Docs.
No, good Gmail too.
Well, Gmail too, yes. No, more like just auto replies. Like if you get someone saying blah blah blah, you could say great, thanks. You can just press that and it'll send.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that, and then it shows you like two options, and then you can keep going. But they're glowy because they're Apple Intelligence. But so far, they have been so bad for me. So bad for me. I had a friend that was like, David, you need to drink water. You're not super young anymore. And then the two options were yes, no. And I was like, okay. Okay. And then
Was that a real friend or?
yeah, it was a real friend. Yeah,
okay.
a real friend. And then I've been having some old person stomach pain for the last few days that I was also telling a different friend about. And I said, I hope it clears up over the next couple of days. And they said, I pray. And then it just suggested, thanks for praying! Exclamation point. And I'm just like, can you? This
Mine
is
are
the
this.
You should have
That's
sent
cool.
it.
all the AI, all these large language models are just super basic, positive, but not complex in any way. And in an email context, generally, you're being a little more formal, so it
Yeah.
makes more sense. But when you're texting people, it just doesn't work.
It's funny because in a text, it's overly positive, but at the same time, so minuscule that it feels like blunt.
Right.
So, like, if you respond just
blow,
like,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like, thanks, it just feels like, oh, I just typed like a pretty well thought out thing.
Right.
And you just said, like, thanks. It feels like,
You kind of need to be more.
or like that they're just blowing you off. Like, it does exactly what it kind of is doing, which is, I don't care enough about this message that I'd rather just click one of these.
Very
auto
passive
Totally.
aggressive.
Yeah.
In an email format,
Yes.
nobody really cares
No.
that you're being super blunt that way. But in a text message, the context is different. The one thing that has been useful, though, is when you get multiple messages, either in a group chat or from a single person, the notification has this new like summary thing.
I've seen this go well and poorly in my own case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can also recognize images, though, which is cool. Because previously, if you would get a text with an image, it would just say like one image. And now I got 4 texts from a friend. One of them was a photo. And it said, photo of a fire escape. And she's also interested in this.
Does that work with just iMessage? Or was it working with like Telegram and
I have not
everything
tried it
else?
on other apps because I've only
Okay.
been using this for a single day.
Oh, okay.
But
It's
I
been
thought that was
iMessage.
interesting, and for group chats especially, because I'm in a couple like photography group chats where people are just talking about cameras all the time. I generally don't need to be like to the minute caught up.
Mhm.
You know, seems interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'm in a group chat and iMessage with like 10 people and 40 new messages, what it would say. I'm curious if it would work. But yeah, that I have gotten that working as well.
I would love it if
Yeah.
it's just like, you probably don't need to read these.
Honestly,
you weren't part of the context
I would
of this.
appreciate
You're
that.
good skipping this
Yeah.
one.
I would really like that.
That would be fire.
That would be awesome.
But
Mark is
colloquially, I sent a friend that article about the friend
Mm.
because I wanted to talk about it last night. And she sent me back this really long message, but just summarized it to questions wearable devices value in AI context, which was effectively the summary. And it's ironic that it was summarized by an AI, but
Damn,
here we are.
that's deep.
Anyway, that's my thoughts.
In my group chat, we have a lot of voice notes that we send each other.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will summarize the voice notes because, like, you get the transcript.
It has to listen to them then.
Well, there's the transcript. Can it just
That's
like
true.
get the transcript, give me the summary, so I don't have to listen to like a 10-minute voice memo?
Because
where
we
I'm like,
all have one friend
That sends
lives
voice.
10-minute voice memos.
Yeah.
I don't.
I have two.
Really?
I've made the right decisions in my life that I do not
played.
have that person.
Well
apparently.
played.
One of my best friends sends like 10-minute voice notes all the time, and I'm like, "Can you stop?"
I'm sure they are all great
what you were
people.
talking about
Yeah.
in the first half.
Yeah, if I had that person, I'd be like, play, and then I would just be like, huh.
I have to take
Just like
notes.
anything else would like distract me in that process. I love that we started with phones as phone calls, developed texting to be easier, created longer phone calls and text messages, and now we're summarizing them back into smaller text.
We have like
messages. It's
piecemeal
the circle
phone
of
calls
life.
Yeah.
back and forth that are not connected, and we're just gonna land on phone calls again. It's gonna be a feature. Someone's gonna launch a device, and the primary feature is going to be a live audio connection to another person,
You mean like Clubhouse?
and it's gonna be revolutionary. Yeah,
The walkie-talkie.
like we've never seen before.
Okay, question. So you're saying on the next iPhone, like what is it going to launch with? Have they already for sure announced everything that's going to be with AI? Could they do like camera upgrades or like video stabilization using new AI and make that like the selling point of the next
could.
iPhone?
Yeah, but if it's with the new AI, I'm assuming it's going to come out at the same time as this AI, and it seems like that's not making it. I don't know.
Well,
I
this
guess-
is more like language stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like when I see Apple Intelligence, the way they seem to be branding it, they're like packaging together all of their models, whether it's their diffusion models or their language models.
Mhm.
And I guess camera stuff like is kind of in its own bucket until you're editing the image and using the diffusion models. So I don't know. It feels like that could be there could be an iPhone 16 specific camera AI feature in theory
Yeah.
that takes advantage of some new powerful neural cores on the chip or whatever.
I think Apple Intelligence is generally language and image generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch, this will be the year where all the camera stuff comes out on launch date, and all of the other stuff is a 3 month later.
It's
Yeah.
backwards.
Wait.
It's upside down.
Yeah.
I'll just be super interested if the main part of the keynote is Apple Intelligence,
Mhm.
and we don't get it as it comes out. It's a wait till the fall kind of thing.
That would be kind of crazy.
It would be really strange and very unlike, very like Apple, but unlike Apple at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what is going to be the big selling point of this phone?
Here's the thing. If that is what we would argue the number one thing about selling the phone, and it doesn't come out till November, can you not recommend that phone right off the bat?
Well, if it's just the same phone as last year, then
Or
it's the same
not
phone
a-
as last year. And that's all I can say about it if the stuff's all coming soon.
Yeah.
And if you already have a 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, you
Then
really don't need
Don't
it.
buy it. It's the same phone as last year. Yeah.
Yeah, but most people like they're coming from 3 or 4 years ago anyway.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's
In which case, you can probably recommend a 15 Pro
Mm-hmm.
as the 16 comes out because the 15 Pro comes down in price and should have all the same capabilities.
And I think it's easier to recommend, like, you're still not recommending that for a 4-year difference based on the thing that's coming soon. All the other things are still an upgrade from that 4-year thing. So, like,
Right.
it's less bad and then maybe a good bonus later. But
But then there's the awkward thing where next year there's supposed to be the Slim and possibly the Flip. So now you're like, there's nothing new. Can you wait another year?
Yeah, this could be a skip year.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
kind of what I
yeah.
was getting at.
What was-
Is there any chance that there could be some big surprise this year? because
Are you
this
saying
isn't ready.
specifically like hardware wise?
Yeah, like a hardware change.
I doubt it.
Highly doubt it.
I hope.
It's already.
I like events where we're actually surprised. So
I
that
do
would
too.
be cool, but I doubt it.
But I trust our boy Mark Gurman, you know?
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah.
So
what was the last skip year? iPhone.
I mean, every S year, but
13.
There was the one where basically like the Pro like almost wasn't worth getting because it had like one extra camera and they made the normal so good. I don't know.
Probably the 11.
I feel like it was 11 or 12. but
iPhone
I'm
12
getting
mini
so-
was definitely worth a skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one
Alice
should
is
buy
listening
that.
to this.
12
Yeah,
mini.
fuming right now.
But at least there was a 13 mini.
That's true.
All right, moving on. This actually launched last Thursday because, of course, it did, because that's the day after we record every single freaking week, and it always freaking happens.
Tech companies, can you stop?
Lay it off. Lay off.
Stop it.
Lay off. Launch things on Tuesday.
Friend did.
That's true.
Friend.com.
I got the memo.
They know, yeah.
You know, thanks, Javi.
Thanks.
All right. We missed this last week. It was OpenAI's launch of SearchGPT, which is sort of their competitor to Perplexity and also kind of a competitor to Google's response to ChatGPT, which is an interesting place to be in. But there was this rumor a long time ago well, not really a long time ago, very recently because this stuff moves so fast, when they were about to launch GPT-4o, which is their Omni model, which had the Scarlett Johansson drama, that it was going to be a ChatGPT search engine. That ended up not being the case at the time, but they were actually developing
They're working on it.
their search engine. Because if you can displace Google, then you make all the money in the world.
If you could displace 1% of Google,
Yeah.
you would make a crazy amount of money.
Exactly. And that's why Google is terrified of. So they took the veils off of SearchGPT, which is kind of a search engine, kind of ChatGPT. They do interestingly say they're eventually just going to integrate them together and there won't really be a difference, which is kind of weird. But effectively what this looks like right now is you have a big text box that you type stuff into and you talk to it. And right now, when we search things on Google, we search things in sort of like an SEO language. We've talked about this before. There's a way to Google that will get you your answer faster because you learned how to write in SEO.
We're all little prompt engineers.
Exactly.
We all know what to type to get Google to give us the thing.
100%.
Yeah.
And so the idea here is we're trying to get people used to speaking in natural language to ChatGPT. Now you theoretically should be able to speak in natural language to a search engine. That's sort of the future that they're trying to move people towards, which makes sense because, you know, there's a reason that my parents are really bad at Googling things. And I'm always like, can you just look it up?
Because they just use natural
I
language.
know.
Because for
prompts.
people that don't understand how to speak in SEO,
Yeah.
it's actually hard to look up information.
That's why I feel like this could either be amazing or horrible. This could be amazing for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa who just type, where do I buy the, like just asking like a person a question and it actually understands it and gives them a correct answer. That could be amazing for them to use instead of Google. It could be horrible if it hallucinates or gives them the wrong answer to an important question.
Which happened in their demo because that
Evergreen.
every single time it is impossible to have an AI demo without it hallucinating.
Great.
AI demo with only real facts challenge. Impossible.
like- Hire a fact checker, a human fact checker. It won't be too hard. So one of the searches that they did was they wanted to find music festivals happening near them. And it suggested this Appalachian Summer Festival that said it's running from July 29th to August 19th because they just said music festivals happening near me. And basically the way this looks, and we can show it on screen, but I'll try to describe it for audio listeners, is it is sort of like a big Excel spreadsheet that looks a lot nicer. And on the left-hand cells, there are actually links if you open up the page. And on the right hand is kind of like this paginated list where it shows an image. It'll show the answer and the actual event that's happening if you search for events. And then it'll show a link. And they are very, very specific about trying to make the links very out there because there's been a ton of blowback on Perplexity for just scraping people's information and
Not linking.
technically linking, but like really small and not being obvious about it. And I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. There was an interview on Neil I's Decoder podcast with Nick Thompson, who runs The Atlantic, and he's very deep in working with OpenAI on like, if this is the future and we cannot avoid it, how can we work together to make this like okay for both of us? And that was the one thing that they were really pushing, was like make our links more prominent. So yeah, at the moment it kind of looks like this big thing. Anyway, the hallucination that happened was in the demo. They asked for these music festivals that were happening nearby, and the first one that was listed was an Appalachian Summer Festival that's running from July 29th to August 19th. But then if you actually go to the website, it's actually running from June 29th to July 27th, and it said the box office is closed from July 29th to August 19th.
Whoops.
So here we go again.
Whoops.
You just can't rely. You can't rely on the answers that a large language model serves you. Underlying massive problem. People still need to double check everything they do.
Which is another skill.
Like
the prompt engineering was one skill, but then you also had to learn how to verify that the answer that you got was correct.
Yeah.
Checking your sources, double checking, just
Right.
making sure you got the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frustration is just that we keep being told that the hallucinations are we're almost there. We've almost solved the hallucination problem for the last number of months, you know? And it's like we keep being told that, and every single time there's a demo, they don't even catch a hallucination that shows up.
Do you remember when
So it's tough.
ChatGPT came out and then Google frantically panicked and released Gemini and made AI like their whole thing? Do you think they're going to frantically panic with this as well?
I mean, Perplexity's been out for a while. They have been panicking. The strange thing is that I think they realized they released the AI overviews too quickly, because they've really reeled back how much they show you overviews. I never see them anymore.
I get them on my phone all the time, but never on the computer or anything.
Interesting.
I do, and I can never figure out exactly why. And every time it pops up, I just like start scrolling because I'm like, I can find this link faster than you can populate this overview.
I'm just curious because I'm looking at this screenshot of what SearchGPT looks like, and it did get that thing wrong. But this doesn't look bad.
No.
And I'm like, could Google just like redo their UI?
I want
to. Yeah,
because
UI.
they can already search the websites themselves and get the information correct. Like
Right.
they could do half and half, you know, like
It
half
is funny
AI,
because I
half-
think it's the way they like show things is it's almost not even like the prompting we're doing is just to get the more precise answers in these set of links because it wants to sell you absolute garbage first.
Mhm.
And like, so we prompt things to try and get like typing Reddit in at the end to try and get a Reddit thread, or like
Right.
typing something a little more trustworthy that we know inside of the search term to get that faster. Because we know Google is usually the best search engine for any website that we like, even though it's not even that website and that website has a search function already.
Right.
But so like,
Right.
does Google need to change their AI, or not their AI, their UI and what it serves you? So when it's a more simple term, it doesn't just serve you like the trash SEO crap.
I think it should. However, I think that directly conflicts with how
Making
much
money.
they've made. Yeah. Over the
Mhm.
years, they've just slowly degraded the experience at a speed that you don't notice
Oh yeah.
by putting more ads, more sponsored links, more clips on the sides of the page. And now they're so deep that if they were to reel it back and try to be more like SearchGPT, they would just stop making money. OpenAI doesn't need to worry right now about
Right now.
making money. That's always how this happens. Is some new company comes in, releases a product that doesn't make any money but has a great user experience,
Disrupts.
so they can disrupt the market, so they can gain user traction, and then eventually they're like, time to turn on the money mill, and then they just
And they became what they sought to destroy.
it's what Threads will become,
Mm.
and we're hanging on now, but it'll get worse.
Don't mention that. Shh. Don't remind them.
Threads.
Threads is going to turn into Twitter, and then a new
It's just
Fediverse is
turn
going to
into
come up.
Facebook. Yeah. So right now they are releasing it to 10,000 beta testers of people that pay for GPT Plus, and they do want to eventually integrate it into ChatGPT.
Is this my turn to beg for an invite? So Arc'teryx get to them,
Okay.
and OpenAI hit me up.
I'll take $5,000 pants
into the
over
I'd like to
a
try this.
search engine
I would also
any day.
I would also take.
I'm not going to be hiking anytime soon, so let's talk.
Anyway, it's interesting because there's all these different ways that you can look at search. And I think that Perplexity has this one direction that they look at it in, and they've been under a ton of fire recently for just stealing information from people. And now they're going to have to try to like thread that needle. But separately, they also now just announced that they're finally starting to roll out their GPT-4o her-like voice model that is like back and forth really quickly and kind and whatever weird. Yeah. I think they kind of swept that under the rug for a while the Scarlett Johansson drama was happening. And now they're just like, okay, it's out. They just wanted a couple months for people to stop talking about it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to try this stuff. Yeah, I would like to get it. I mean, I don't have access to it, but I see the screenshots and I would like to. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we should take another quick break. A little more to talk about, but before we do that, one more trivia question.
All right. Fun fact. Tamagotchi is a portmanteau of two Japanese words. The actual translation is egg watch, which I found hilarious.
Egg watch.
Yeah. When was it released?
Makes sense. When was it
in
released?
Japan or the US?
Worldwide.
I don't think they're the same.
So then Japan.
The first one?
Make sure
The
you
What
first
you're
one.
saying?
Yes.
Can I ask SearchGPT?
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, the first time it was
Oh,
released.
okay, I got it.
You may search GPT. I'll give you an
If
extra
you
point
can.
if you get the day, by the way.
I mean, sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a special day?
Uh
Yeah, it was the day the Tamagotchi was released.
yeah, exactly.
Tamagotchi Day.
No,
making
but
it
I
a
will give you a
holiday.
hint because that year it got Toy of the Year for Christmas.
Oh, so it came out on Christmas?
Well, how did it come out?
No, it had to come out before Christmas.
Oh,
to be Toy of the
Black
Year.
Friday?
Christmas. I don't know, but I'll guess for sure after the break.
Stay tuned for our guesses.
Support for this show comes from Meta.
Have a question or need how-to advice? Just ask Meta AI. Whether you want to design a marathon training program that will get you race ready for the fall, or you're curious what planets are visible in tonight's sky, Meta AI has the answers. Perhaps you want to learn how to plant basil when your garden only gets indirect sunlight. Meta AI is your intelligent assistant. It can even answer your follow-up questions, like what you can make with your basil and other ingredients you have in your fridge. Meta AI can also summarize your class notes, visualize your ideas, and so much more. The best part is you can find Meta AI right in the apps you already have: Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger. Just tag Meta AI in your chat or tap the icon in the search bar to get started. It's the most advanced AI at your fingertips. Expand your world with Meta AI.
You want to know something cool? Wait, I should intro it first.
I thought that was the intro.
I kinda did too. I was ready.
Well, it might as well be. Hey, you want to know something cool? A new phone came out. It's called the Nothing Phone. Ooh, that's shiny. Nothing Phone 2A Plus. I'm holding it in front of a gray part of the background, and it's blending in. I'm noticing.
It's just the two camera bumps. Like in
Yeah.
So basically, whether you're an audio listener or a viewer, you have no idea
can't
what
see
you're
the phone
holding
at
up
all.
right
No,
now.
okay, so it's a slight bump from the Nothing Phone 2A. The word plus would suggest it's bigger. It's
Correct.
not.
Correct.
I think that I should
thought
make
that.
that clear.
Yeah.
The Nothing Phone 2A Plus is the same size as a Nothing Phone 2A. What it is it's slightly faster. It has a Dimensity 7350 Pro 5G processor. It has a slightly bumped up camera.
Yeah.
It's and it's silver now.
And
That's
it also charges 5 watts faster
Oh.
for some reason.
Yeah.
45 watts to 50, which I don't think anyone's going to notice. But
It's been 4 months since the
yeah,
2A
4
came
months.
out.
Yeah.
So this is like a weird 4 months later version of the same phone, but a little bit more updated. And it's $50 more. It's $400 instead of $350. But it's now the newest A phone from nothing. The design is the one thing that I have not gotten everyone to agree on with. I think it's just an excuse to charge more. And I think it's just slightly different from the previous phone, but it's a little bit shiny, and I don't think it's better than the previous design. but it's different enough that you can say it's a different phone. Did you guys have thoughts on this design? I don't actually think it's that
Like how
cool.
it looks?
Yeah.
I kind of dig this
It's
silver.
a brushed metal.
It's
I like the
silver.
brush. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. People say metal and it looks like metal and all the ads look like metal. But when you have the phone in front of you, it's very clearly still plastic. I mean, obviously, it's
You
a
think?
cheaper
Oh,
phone.
you don't think it's metal underneath the plastic?
I can't. It almost doesn't matter because I can't feel it. Like the
I'm
back
fine
of the
with that.
phone is still plastic. The sides are still plastic.
I think metal has a look though, and that's what I care about here.
They also released the special edition of the regular 2A just 2 months ago.
Right.
I like
think
that better.
With multicolor.
I think that's the reason why it feels like even less than 4 months is because we just did this again recently.
And then, so how long ago was just the Nothing Phone 2?
Oh,
the two?
a long time ago. a
Nothing
very long
phone.
time
And
ago.
how far away are we from the Nothing Phone
July
3?
They're not. I don't
2023.
think they're doing it this year.
Oh.
I doubt.
July 2023? So we're over a year out?
Yeah,
Or a
so
year
We're
Yeah.
out?
expecting a Nothing Phone 3 sometime soon.
I don't think they're doing that this year. I don't know.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't mind that
Me
approach.
neither
Yeah.
at all.
That's good.
So a year plus since the Nothing Phone 2 and no Nothing Phone 3. But we got
That's just a
three
rumor.
Nothing Phone 2As in the last 4 months. Got it.
Correct.
They all just
Okay.
seem like variations of each other, though. Like
That's,
they,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
had all these working internally, and they were like, "We'll just release them 2 months apart."
$400.
I like the silver.
Have you been using it, Marquez? Is your main SIM in there?
No, my main SIM, I recently moved back to the Pixel
8 Pro.
8 Pro
Whoa.
in anticipation of
The 9
comparing
Pro.
it to the 9s when they come out.
Oh,
So my SIM has skipped the Nothing Phone entirely. I don't
Well, this
suspect. I mean, I reviewed the 2A.
Yeah.
I think it's a good phone, by the way. It's
Yeah.
a good, inexpensive, big screen, great software, nice phone. So I'm sure this will be very similar. But I don't feel the need to like go through that week and a half long review process for myself to verify it because we're around the corner for some much more interesting phones.
Can we talk about the news reporter widget?
I was just gonna ask.
Okay,
that.
sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I do have that. Okay. Can we talk about that? Is that non-embargoed?
No, it's not embargoed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is one interesting new piece of software called the News Reporter widget. You might see it on my home screen here. It is a circle with 8 bars. And that is intentional because the News Reporter widget is, I want to get this exactly right, it is summarizing a bunch of new news articles from various sources from subjects that you have checked. So I checked, what did I check here? Science, sports, and technology, but you could also check health or entertainment or business. And then it translates them to audio and reads them to you in an AI voice.
Well, it is Tim Holbrough's
Yeah,
voice,
it's-
which is the CFO of Nothing.
So it's trained on this man's voice. It sounds
yeah.
very human-like
It sounded
to me.
very good.
And I'm going to play
Please do.
my latest news story from today, Wednesday, July 31st.
Okay.
Welcome to Nothing News, where the only thing we're not short on is bad news. I'm Tim, the CFO, and I'm stuck reading this stuff out every day. Guess that's what I get for investing in nothing. It's a real nothing venture.
It's funny because that's
Shem Sivi.
AI and not him.
Kicking off today's episode, the Pentagon has finally achieved a significant milestone by breaking free from its reliance on Russian rocket engines.
So it
This
sounds
marks a major step forward
like a human.
development
I
of
can
domestic launch
pause
capability.
because a widget on Android you can interact with, but I can't seem to skip or anything. And then when I hit it again, it keeps
move comes
it like
off.
picks up where it left off.
Hmm.
So it's like a bad media player.
Can I describe what this feels like to me?
NPR.
I think this is Spotify DJ, but for the news.
For NPR.
It's like, yeah.
I found the media player controls. They just show up like you're playing a Spotify song in the media player, and you
Okay.
can play, pause, and
For
scrub
more
up
science
here.
news, discs will feature master them
Can you jump to different topics at all?
You can fast
Here's
forward.
something
But
new.
are there markers
Going
for different
Starlight.
topics?
Yeah, each track is one topic.
Oh, really?
Or one, story.
Interesting.
So there's 8 stories from those topics you selected.
I have questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So theoretically, it is synthesizing the biggest news stories in different categories across the web.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's deciding which stories to pick. I also,
Me neither.
is it just going to read off of, is it just going to summarize a bunch of stories that were written by actual journalists and then not quote or reference
For sure.
anything?
Correct. Yes.
Sick.
So this is.
Would you
is the-
expect anything
like
less?
if you went to a
Guys.
if you went to a web page that had a 10 paragraph news story and just asked Copilot, Gemini, GPT, whatever to summarize it, and you got those bullet points, I think that's what you're getting here. It's just a super short summary, a 1 minute long summary of that news story, and no source, nothing else, and then just moves on. And it's read in an interesting AI voice, and that might be the most impressive part is how human like that voice sounds.
Well, I have a question.
That's
Have
it.
you gotten to the end of a story recently?
Yes.
Does it? And it definitely does not source it. It doesn't say like this story comes to you from blah 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 blah.
Let's get to the end of this Boeing story and hear what happens.
Program remains uncertain, with scheduled flights potentially being further delayed.
That was it.
Okay.
Coming up next, the New York Mets have bolstered
Sounds
their
so
pitching
bored.
staff.
I would
He sounds so bored.
I would never agree for them to use my voice for this because now I am the one potentially screwing up news stories and tossing out
Hallucinating?
misinformation.
Yeah.
But what if
Yeah.
you had investments in the company?
I
What
would
if you
be
were the
even more so like,
CFO?
don't use me.
This is basically like the Daily from the New York Times, but generated by an AI that could be just hallucinating information.
Or just, it could even be reading correct information from
but stealing.
unreputable news sources.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah. I would, do you know what's funny? I would like something like this.
An Onion article gets in there.
Yeah. But like, I would like something like this that wasn't summarizing and I picked the news stories I wanted of the day. So then I could be like in the morning, like, oh, here's a couple things I would find interesting, but now you can read them to me while I'm in the car with like a nice sounding voice.
I believe so. The New York Times uses some service that
Do they?
does this for their articles, and I think you can just use that service and use it to read a bunch of articles.
Even non New York Times articles.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
There are
look at-
services out there that you can tell to read certain web pages to you, and it will read them.
That would be cool. But if it
that would
was
be
just like a
better.
widget on my phone, and if it even said like, here's a couple news articles you might find interesting today, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
read those to me today.
I guess
That'd
this
be
is
awesome.
this is like the lowest effort possible version for on the user part. Like I just wake up and just tap the widget and off I go.
Yeah, there's a NPR podcast called Up First that's basically
That's great.
15 minutes of the biggest news stories, and that's actually fact checked by journalists. So
It's good. Is it an entirely human process, or is it
Yeah.
like AI curated and then
No,
human
it's-
fact
it's
checked?
entirely human.
Yeah.
What if it wasn't?
Well,
Then-
then you're
Then
here.
they've been doing AI for a long time.
You're
Up
right.
First has been around for a very long time.
Yeah, really
They're
long
great.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the tech companies, I think, just are fine with stealing. And I just
There is a small disclaimer at the bottom.
oh great.
There we go. That'll fix everything.
When you go into the widget settings and then you go to adjust them at the bottom, it says the news content is curated from third-party sources. Period. Nothing is not responsible for the accuracy or opinions expressed in these articles.
Lawyers killed that statement.
We should
Yeah.
throw that at the end of all our podcasts.
Adam Molina has
Retroactive.
curated.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't much else to say there. It just kind of reads you AI news.
Well, if you're willing to have a second Up First that might be lying to you, try this out.
Yeah, super easy.
Yeah.
That might be.
Look, I'm always happy to have more podcasts, but this guy also sounds really bored.
He does. And I wonder like if they have other voices that they tried or if they wanted to add other options for voices, if they'd be like more excited or
Yeah.
other
Do
Do you
personalities.
think he requested to be?
I doubt
That
it.
voice?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
to
I
be the
mean,
voice? I don't know.
Do you think he requested, or Carl was like,
You're doing
"You
this.
should do
You're doing
this"?
I think behind the scenes, Nothing is probably pretty pumped that they're able to try this level of weird stuff and kind of just get away with it.
Yeah.
Like if they had announced this separately, like obviously we already are familiar with the NPRs and like the early morning podcast news shows of the world. And if they wanted to just jump into that ecosystem and offer an AI curated one, the reaction would be very one-sided. I think
Right.
everyone would go, that's a little weird. We
Yeah.
like the human touch. We need it to be fact-checked. Having an AI-generated version of this in this ecosystem, not ready for that yet. But instead, it's just a widget on a Nothing phone, where the users of this phone they're already kind of curated. It's people who are buying these Nothing phones. they'll try it, and if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But that allows them to play with a very forward, almost radical idea and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that's how we end up with this really crazy AI-generated news radio show that the radio shows probably aren't even really paying attention to.
What is the app called?
This?
Yeah.
It's called the, let me double check.
Like
the
Nothing News or
the
something?
News Reporter widget.
Okay. Because
There's no app on the phone.
Nothing had told us that there was going to be an iOS version of this
Really?
widget. Yeah. But I don't know if it's out yet or if that's actually happening. So,
Also, to be fair, I joke about it being the CFO, CTO, CFO.
Yeah.
If there's a company pulling it off with one of their people, Nothing makes the most sense because in general, Nothing is pretty good at getting their executives and people at their company out there for their fan base, and their fan base seems to like that. So this does make the most sense for them.
Yeah. Also, interestingly, I believe Carl had said that he made this whole thing about how he's interested in how AI is going to change the way we interact with smartphones. And from what I understand, that's the main reason they're not like planning on releasing a phone 3 this year, is they want to like kind of re-engineer the UI for smartphones and release it on the Nothing Phone 3 like next year. Which sure.
Which to me feels like the Nothing Phone 3 might as well be basically the same as a Nothing Phone 2, just with a bunch of up-to-date specs and a ton of AI stuff.
Well, that's what the Nothing Phone 2A Plus is.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's the world we live in. It's the world we live in.
Where are we living?
I heard Adam has a rant to finish this off.
My rant is something I have been asking for at least a decade at this point. And
Wow.
it is basically 2K Quidditch. For those that don't know,
This is off the rails.
NBA 2K or like sports
NBA
game.
2K,
Okay.
but just Quidditch. There has been a new game that's coming out, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, coming out as September 2024 or whatever. I've been asking for this for so long, but I have so many questions about it because, first of all, it looks just like it did in the PS2 game or whatever that we used to play way back in the day.
A Quidditch one?
There was a Quidditch section of a Harry Potter game on the PS2 or PS1, I think, years ago. And it's like the same mechanics, which is a little weird.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on PS2.
It wasn't this
PS2.
Quidditch World Cup.
There was also a Quidditch World Cup
okay.
game. I never played that one, though. I wish I did.
Yeah.
But that brings me to my next point. I'm just curious how they're going to do this because the game mechanics and everything. Like, Quidditch inherently makes no sense. The author has said multiple times that she was like, she made this game for the stories intentionally to make fun of people that like sports. So at one point in a game, you can catch the snitch, get 150 points, and basically that guarantees victory. Yeah. So it's like, what's the point of playing
like playing
the game?
Exodia.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exodia. Obliterate. It makes no sense how the game mechanics work in itself. So I'm just curious how this game is going to work because there's like an online multiplayer game. Like, am I just going to coast the whole game and then last minute just try to catch the snitch because it's worth like,
I mean, in my
points?
PlayStation 1 version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, you could play Quidditch. And I didn't beat the game for so freaking long because I just played that game as if it was a Quidditch game.
Nice.
It was so good. It was so
really
fun.
funny.
And so if they had mechanics in that, they'll probably build it out.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're going to make it like, I don't know, fair.
I think they want this to be FIFA, but for Harry Potter fans.
I hope,
We'll see.
maybe not hope, but it would be funny if there were game packs like in like FIFA and NBA where you like open packs to get players and gamble all your money away with
You got
DLC.
Hermione.
So you can get the gold Messi card. I want the gold Nimbus 2000 and I want to spend $800 trying to open it.
Yeah, pay to play, baby.
It's coming. But I will report back when this game comes out because I'm 100% playing it.
Okay.
Have they
Play
made
with you.
Yeah.
They
let's
made
do it.
something called Seeker VR, but I feel like Quidditch VR would actually make sense because you can move in it because flying, you don't need to move your legs.
Your body
Like,
doesn't.
true.
You
it
don't
makes
feel your body moving though.
you don't feel your body moving, but it's way better than just walking in VR, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
So like you could fly around,
Maybe.
catch the
Golden snitch.
Have you guys ever
Bludgeon?
lucid dreamed before?
Oh, yeah.
Hard left.
The first, it's related.
Okay.
For those that don't know, lucid dreaming, I'm not promoting this as
No, it's
a
great.
thing that you can like train yourself to do because I don't know.
Oh, it'd be awesome if you
I
could.
tried and it never worked. Anyway, I have been able to lucid dream 3 times. And it's basically when you realize that you're dreaming, but it doesn't wake you up, and then you're able to like take control of the dream, and you're basically a superhero, and it's sick.
You can do whatever you want. You've never lucid dreamed?
I'm not trying to make.
I have. Just this description is hilarious.
I'm not trying to make this a goop podcast, but we're close. But basically, the first time I ever lucid dreamed, I was able to ride around on a broomstick because I was super into Harry Potter when I was a kid.
That's awesome.
And I was like flying around. It was super sick. And then my dad walked in. I was like, look, I could ride a broomstick. And he was like, okay. But anyway, it was super fun and cool. So I think that this game will be interesting.
In VR.
In VR. Right.
Yep.
That was
VR
the
would
point.
be sick.
That was the
Yeah.
point.
That'd be cool.
Was that if we could get to my childhood lucid dreams in real life, I would appreciate it.
We're working on it, David.
I'm
But
glad we
before
tied
that,
full circle.
we also have
Trivia.
trivia, dude. So, quick update on the score. Google with -3. Ellis carrying the 1.
Thank you.
Marquez with 14. Andrew tied with 14. And David with 15. Let's go.
5% battery.
Nice.
You don't
Okay.
need it anymore.
Yeah, now we're done. It's fine.
That's true.
First question. Which of the following was not a Google X project? A. Project Glare, a project that used exclusively solar energy to charge hot swappable e-bike batteries. B. Project Dandelion, a project that sold geothermal energy systems to consumers. C. Project Flux, a project that... You know when you say a word too many times it doesn't feel real anymore? That's project right now for me. A project that made a tool for designing eco-friendly buildings. Or D, Project Mineral, a project that used machine learning to scale sustainable agriculture. Marquez, you're erasing and rewriting, or are you drawing?
I thought about drawing, but
I knew
I'm sticking with the writing.
David, you don't have to write that much.
It's just one letter,
It's
David.
just a letter.
It's like in SpongeBob.
Yeah, when he's the. All right, flip him and read. What do you got, David?
B. Dandelion.
B. Dandelion. Wrong.
Dang.
Andrew.
A. I forget it was flare or glare.
Glare. Correct.
Let's
Really?
go.
Marquez?
I also put
Oh,
A, glare.
Hey,
You
correct.
telling me?
Because anytime I see a project using solar energy to charge batteries, I know it's not going to work.
Really?
Yep.
it would make more sense that
But-
bikes need way less
Yeah.
charge.
And wait,
That's specifically
and they
why I
sit
said-
outside
And
all
wait,
the
you're
time.
saying, because look, you know the like the e-bikes that they have in the city.
Yeah.
They
charge with
they
solar.
swap out those batteries every night basically to like keep them at 34 miles or however far they can go.
Mhm.
If they put solar panels along the docks,
Not nearly enough.
probably not, but something, right? I mean, I don't know. I just
This was a moonshot project.
selling geothermal energy to consumers.
That was the
seems-
only
seems a lot
description.
less likely than charging bikes.
You would think.
So I'm surprised. I applaud you guys.
Yeah.
For being smarter than me today.
You remember the Prius
guessing better.
with the solar panel on top?
the what?
The Prius with the solar
like
panels
It's like
on
7 miles a day.
Exactly. Think about that.
Yeah.
I thought they always said that was it takes care of the like infotainment system and air conditioning controls.
That's mainly what it does. Think about that, though. The entire surface area of the top of the Prius,
Yeah.
not the entire, but the whole roof,
Yeah.
can power that thing
Yeah.
in ideal conditions, sitting in the sun on a sunny day outside for an entire day
Yeah.
for 5 miles.
Yeah.
That's more than enough for a bike, though.
Yeah, but you
But
know
the
what?
bike has a much smaller surface area.
I wasn't
never
thinking
said it
on
was
the
on the
bikes.
bike.
It was for the bike.
Oh yeah,
batteries.
I assumed
So
it
could
was
be on
like
the
a
docks.
I assumed it was like a station that had the.
Yeah.
Oh, like
That's
a
what I was going for.
carport with like a covered like 100
well, have you
bikes
seen
under it.
have you seen the city bikes in New York City?
There's usually like a
Like the
kiosk
docks
and,
are
like-
super long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you could put like a strip of solar panel on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't think
Nice.
it'll be enough.
Yeah. And I guess considering like they are already powered because they like light up green or red when you like put them in and stuff. So
they're plugged in.
if they could figure out how to charge the battery by just docking it, they would have already done that, but they're probably just afraid of electrocuting people.
Same.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Question number 2.
I'm going to get this
By the
one
way,
wrong.
fun fact, everyone is tied up right now. 15.
Lost my lead.
Okay,
All
so
right.
since we're all going to get this wrong,
You don't know that.
Closest.
well, assuming we do, can we do closest gets the point?
Yeah, I'll do
what
Delta.
was
Okay.
the question?
It's like the Tamagotchi date.
Oh.
The question is,
Crap.
when was the Tamagotchi released? Go! This is according to history of Tamagotchi. No, Tamagotchi-official.com/history.
Okay.
David.
Why don't we just add SearchGPT? Right. Yeah, okay.
Extra point if you get the day.
Wait, like day of the week or
No.
okay, like,
Thursday.
we'd all have a better chance.
Flip him and read.
I put Thanksgiving 1987.
Wrong.
I put May 26th, 1995.
Wrong.
And I put July 31st, that's today, 1989.
Oh, it probably is today.
Wait,
Wrong.
that first of all, that's Claire's birthday, like to the day,
What?
which is really funny.
Sick.
Inception.
Which also relevant. Harry Potter's birthday is July 31st.
Correct.
Which we were just talking about.
That's
Really?
cool.
Damn.
I did not know that either.
What is the snitch's birthday?
Well, we're all wrong. So, what is the actual date that the Tamagotchi
The
came out?
actual date was November 23rd, 1996.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
go. I
Andrew was
close.
closest, so Andrew gets the point.
I remember it being really popular when I was a kid, so I was like, I feel like it had to have come out sometime.
I thought it
So
would have
that-
gotten more popular in Japan and then taken over for us,
In
which
your
it did
defense,
actually.
I also
That
thought
would
it was
still
in
make
the
sense.
80s.
It would still make sense because I had one and I was born in 95. So
I
Probably
recently, as in the past month, got my first Tamagotchi.
Why?
Wait,
I'm just going to leave it at that.
nice.
wait, oh
Next
yeah.
story
Next
time.
story
Wait,
time.
did you say Claire's born in 96?
89.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
hey. What?
No, it's fine. Anyway, it's still, by the way, the Tamagotchi is not open. It's still in the plastic.
Only 7
It's
years.
new.
Collector's
New
item.
inbox.
Are you going to use it?
Nib.
Is it a Kith collab?
I would like
The
to.
Supreme
I would like to pick a
Tamagotchi.
not busy time because you have to like keep it alive and like pay attention to it. I would like to pick a not busy time to turn it
So
on.
when you
and then
retire-
I
eventually
have to
kill it.
know why you bought. You have to tell us.
I didn't buy it. I got it as a gift.
Oh,
So
are you going to
Yeah.
use it? You plan on seeing how long you can
I
keep it going?
don't know how. I don't really know how active I have to be with it. Like how attentive.
If you
been a
ignore it,
while.
if it's the original one,
It
if you
dies.
ignore
It
it for
is.
half the day,
Yeah.
it will die.
It has like dysentery.
Like 6 hours or something like that.
yeah.
Does
And
anyone remember-
it poops, and you have to clean that up.
I feel like Neopets was the next step. Does anyone remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
And then you'd log onto your Neopet like 3 months later and it had like flies and like garbage around it.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesus.
Quick story about Neopets.
Wait, that's just an AI friend.
It wasn't AI.
It was
though.
way cooler.
Yeah, it was cooler.
Whoops.
Quick story about Neopets. At the time, you had to be 13 or older, technically, but there was a loophole. Well, it wasn't really a loophole. It was a legal thing where if you could give your child permission to sign up for an account being under 13. And when I was like 9, I didn't know you could lie on the internet.
Oh, you did crimes.
So, no, I didn't do crimes. This is the thing. I printed out a document that I had my parents sign that I mailed to the Neopets headquarters and to enable them to let me have an account before 13.
David,
Wow.
And it worked.
My sweet summer child.
I know.
I hope that letter is
I-
framed somewhere.
I'm probably the only child that did not just overtly lie on the internet. Wow, all the characters are exactly the same.
There's some new ones.
That is crazy.
I'm trying to find like.
while they nostalgia over here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to this episode of Waveform. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully by next week we'll know some more things about the things we talked about this week. Because a lot of mysteries still out there. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Roven.
Come on, man.
Waveform is produced by Adam. Waveform is produced by Adam Molina.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Roven, partnered with Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro outro music was created by Van Still.
Bingo.
have 19% battery left. Do you think I'll make it?